Hi, this is Lake's Checkmark. Now is the time more than ever to check in. Don't let someone else check off your life. Today, I am interviewing April Hausman. She's a local farmer in my area, and she's a mother, wife. She runs Hausman's Fruit Farm. A little bit about April. We got to know each other over the years. We've had some connections with our friends being in scouts, not friends, our kids being in scouts. So we got to know each other a little bit more that way. And somehow I got rolled into being a volunteer in scouts due to April saying it was a pretty easy job. I know my wife can say the same thing. So she's a great friend and she's really hard worker. So I wanted to bring her on to share what she's been doing in the community, a little bit about her farm and herself as an entrepreneur. April, if you could just please share some information about yourself and maybe some history about your farm and where you're going.
Sure. So, my husband Justin and I, we have 4 children together. We're a blended family. So I have 2 children, Brent and Lacey, who are 14 and 13. We have Justin has Gregory, who is 12, and then we together have Lily, who just turned 9. The farm itself, Justin's great-grandfather started, George Hausman, in 1916. So the farm is 105 years old now. Each of the men in every generation has only had one son, and that son just happened to also enjoy farming and took it over as well. So Justin's grandfather, Ray, and then Justin's dad, Keith, and his wife, Carol, are my father and mother-in-law, just handed the majority of the operations over to Justin and myself this past 2020. So the farm started off as a potatoes and chicken farm, from what I understand, in the late 1920s. Made it through the Depression. Fast forward to what I've really known about the farm over the last 20 years is they have pushed direct sales. They have gone from wholesaling fruits and vegetables, apple cider, farm produce here on the farm, switched over from wholesale to direct to customer. We are currently 100% direct to customer. We do not do any wholesaling at all. Most of our revenue streams from our festivals that we have. We also do farmers markets in the area. And we, in 2020, opened up a small honor system farm store as well here on the farm, where Justin's great-grandmother had it. Justin's grandmother, Miriam, had the farm store from the 80s to 99, and then his mom also had a store from 99 to 2006.
Okay. Hey, so you're selling just fruit or other items as well?
So we also have an on-site bakery. We do a lot of jarred items. Everything is producer only. If we are selling it, we grew it or produced it in some way. At this time, that may change. Like, for example, we got milk this past year. We're not producing the milk. So that a little bit, we're starting to change that way. Diversifying the farm market, trying to make it more convenient. I have a couple of friends who would love to start selling their beef products in our store. I have another farmer friend that wants to do cheeses. I haven't gotten into all that yet because we don't really have store hours. It's all just on the honor system right now. The bakery here on the farm, we do baked goods on Saturdays, where I also have actual store hours. My mother-in-law bakes for the Emmaus Farmers Market every Sunday, June through November. So you can get baked goods by order at our special events, like all the festivals that we have.
What festivals do you have? I know one. Yeah.
So currently, we started off with doing a farm festival in 2000. Well, Justin's parents started the festivals back in 2001, 2002. And at some point, they decided they weren't going to do the festivals anymore. Justin and I re-implemented them on the farm here in 2014. It was a very slow start. which I really enjoyed because we were able to adjust the needs and adjust how we did things. The Fall Farm Festival runs for 6 weeks from the end of October or the end of September to the end of October. Has been incredibly successful. One year we had a bountiful crop of gala apples, so we opened up a apple festival at the beginning of September. So for every first week in September, we have an apple festival. We started that in 2016, and then in 2020, we started a country Christmas with the Hausmans. So for 2 weekends, we had hay rides through the lights in the orchard, campfires, music. I got a snow machine. We made snow. We had Santa Claus inside doing pictures, and we also had the Grinch reading storybooks inside, served homemade, amazing hot chocolate, and some soups and stuff like that. So all of our events and festivals have been really successful. In 2021, we would really like to launch Sweet Corn and Sunflower Festival. So we might do that for 2 weeks, the end of July to beginning of August, where we do a sunflower maze and pick your own sunflowers, along with grilling our amazing sweet corn.
Okay.
Justin and his dad really, we do it at the market sometimes when we have a lot of corn. That's a customer appreciation. We just grill it at the market and hand it to customers as they're walking around, and we don't charge for that. Obviously, we would charge for it here at the farm, but I see doing a couple different kinds of sweet corn, garlic sweet corn, stuff like that. But we'll see. We'll see what the weather and time allows for this year. That's a hope.
Sure. Yeah, it sounds like you have a lot going on. And I've been over at the farm several times to help out and whatnot, and they are pretty busy and always trying to make changes with the business and keep up to date with stuff going on over there. So it's definitely a successful farm. I definitely see you growing. I've seen it through the years of getting to know who you guys are. And so I know probably running a farm isn't easy. I mean, I'm just saying that, right? I don't actually have a farm. So you're a mother, you're a wife, and I'm sure it's hard to watch where you balance business with family, especially if you're in the same house, on the same land, doing all the work together. Is there a way that you found to kind of separate the two to kind of balance out a little bit better? So I hate it's kind of weird to say that you can't bring it home, right? I mean, you're already there.
There is no home. We live on the farm. I can't escape it. I am old fashioned when I say I love when somebody drives down the street and sees us sitting out on the front porch and turns around and comes back and just talks with us. Yeah. You don't get a lot of that anymore. Everyone has to have an appointment or, doesn't have the time to stop and chat. So I love that. We live here. Our family, Justin's parents live on the farm as well, and his sister, Kelsey, lives on the farm. So to say leave work at work isn't possible. What I have found helps me the most is my kids have expressed to me they want to be told when they're going to be doing farm work. So if I want them to work every Tuesday or Thursday or Friday, 10 to noon, they just want to know that. They don't want me to say, oh, hey, let's go right now. Mm-hmm. So they want me to plan the week ahead of time a little bit with them and talk it over with them. I try my very hardest to restrict Mondays. Mondays is our fun days. So we'll talk over the weekend about what we possibly want to do on Monday. It's kind of the day off for us. I mean, there's no day off, but if I had to choose, that would be the day that we try to focus on the kids, do what the kids want to do normal kid stuff, roller skating, ice skating, go to the park, bike rides, play dates, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So I'd say organization is the best. I do find myself getting up very early in the morning because I try to be as productive as I can before the kids get out of bed. So just being organized.
Yeah, the schedule. Yeah, I definitely understand the schedule part. It's definitely a key thing to have. So could you just maybe explain a little bit what it takes to run a farm? You know, I know you have a lot of moving parts. And, you know, I'm just curious how you look at trying to run a farm.
All right. So this farm in particular does have a lot of moving parts, and we have a lot of people involved. So it really is tricky. When I say, you know, we have to plan a schedule, it's the hardest thing about that schedule is most of our tasks here on the farm, if you will, are weather dependent.
Mm-hmm.
So if we have planned to go out and pick apples on Friday from 10 to noon and it's torrential downpour, you know, that's going to get pushed a little bit. So the weather is definitely my biggest challenge. It's something we can't control. And it's something that, say, you know, we had to go to the market on Friday night and we didn't get to pick those apples because it rained. The weatherman may or may not have called for the rain. So we have to readjust our whole Friday schedule. Or the market is on Saturday and we didn't get done what we needed to get done Friday during the day. Now that pushes our whole schedule back and it just changes things. So we have to be really flexible, which is, I think in any small business, you have to be flexible. But I think as a farmer, we just have to be prepared literally for everything and anything. It may not even be rain. You look at the 10-day forecast and we could get wind gusts of up to 20 to 25 mile an hour. Well, okay, that might blow the barn roof off or, you know, damage some of the fencing. Well, that all has to get done right away, you know. So we may have had planned to pick apples Friday 10 to 12. Friday morning we woke up and the whole fence pasture is down. Well, there goes our whole day. Because we can't let the animals be running around without a pasture.
Right.
So that's the biggest challenge. When I look at everything that we have here, we own 100 acres. About 40 acres of those are orchards. All the orchards take so much different science. Mm-hmm. Farming is not planting a seed and watching it grow, if you will.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of science behind it. Every single thing that we plant takes a different, say, pH level. So we have to go through our whole orchard, the whole 100 acres, whether we're planting field corn, field soybeans, apples, strawberries, blueberries. Everything has a specific pH level. Mm-hmm. So say blueberries like a pH level of 5, apples like a pH level of 6.5, corn and soybeans like it around 7. We're going around and taking all these soil samples, and if it's too high, we have to know what to add to the soil to bring it down. Sulfur will bring it down. If it's too low, we have to know what to add to bring it up, and safely. You know, we can put horse manure on all the blueberry plants and the strawberry plants, but not within a certain day of harvest. So if we're going to harvest them in June, we have to be able to put the horse manure on down before November, so that the horse manure loses its toxicity and is safe for harvest for human consumption. So that's just the farming aspect of it.
Yeah.
Then,
so go ahead.
That's right. So then you're looking at the harvest part of it. So the science of growing the plant and growing a healthy plant. So the strawberries take a certain pH. If you have a low pH strawberry, it's not getting the correct nutrients that one or flavor that our customers have grown to expect. So our farm, because it is owner operated, I believe that's why our products taste so amazing, because we really do take the time to know the science of every single crop that we have. We also have a really good friend, Stacy Mullen, who is our Timec consultant. She's amazing. She helps us anytime I need her. I call her. She's the one that taught us most of all of this that I've been talking about for the pHs and stuff. But then there's harvest, knowing when to harvest the product. So you pick a blueberry. It has to be completely blue. You have to pick it after it's blue, before the birds get it. Mm-hmm. You know, the apples, if you let them out on the tree too long, they start to drop. But if you pick them too early, they don't taste good. So there's a really fine science about being out in the orchards and in the fields, knowing when to pick this stuff, knowing when to plant it, knowing when to test the soils, all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot to know behind farming and managing the part.
Yes. So you have to be ready for everything, right? And so, I mean, we're still kind of in the pandemic that's still going on. So, I mean, you weren't really ready for that. Nobody really was. But so as a farmer, did you have to create some kind of changes like other businesses had to be successful?
I mean, besides implementing a lot of PPE, we all had to wear masks. We did have to implement a little bit more sanitary options for our picking and storing and all that kind of stuff. We weren't as affected negatively because we didn't do much. So it wasn't like we're storing stuff and having a trucker come in and take it out.
Mm-hmm.
Ours was all direct to customer. We sanitized our refrigerator doors a lot more, the handles where the eggs are kept, all that kind of stuff. I sanitized the tables. We had to take away all of our tablecloths in the store. Everything had to be able to be sanitized, which actually was a huge godsend because then I didn't have to wash tablecloths.
There you go.
A silver lining to everything. But as far as negative impacts to the changes in how we were doing things, other than wearing masks and having hand sanitizer, which I think every business ultimately did. Not really.
Yeah. And so did you see like an increase in people like coming out to the farm? Because I feel like that's something we might have discussed before. And if you want to share what your thoughts are on that with the whole pandemic going on.
Absolutely. We learned this year that we could not grow enough food or bake enough food or produce enough food for our market.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like we could plant more quickly. It's not something we could have produced. It's, we have 10 trees. We harvest 10 trees. When those apples are gone, they're gone.
Yeah.
But the overwhelming response of people coming out this year to the farm was amazing. And I think that's across the board with produce farmers and beef farmers. And I think the only farms that really suffered this year at the beginning of the pandemic were the dairy farmers. But I think for the most part, the farming industry did pretty well for 2020.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good news.
Crop damage.
Yeah, right. So we already know why you're an entrepreneur, and you kind of took over the farm. But as you keep on going, is there some kind of beliefs that you might still have in your head that you still have to like try to throw in the back and demystify them to keep moving forward?
So the struggle that we're having right now is we want to grow the orchard. Justin and I have really gotten involved in planting new orchards on the farm since 2015.
Okay.
The struggle that we're finding right now is the nurseries that produce our trees, for whatever reason, are striking out. They're not able to produce the amount of trees that are needed. For the last 2 years, we have been on waiting lists for trees that we've been trying to plant. We have planted probably about 700 new trees, and this year alone, our order was going to be 500 new trees, and it looks like they are only going to be able to supply about 180 of the 500 that we ordered. And it's across the board. It's all the nurseries. So I'm not sure if there's just more people planting more trees or if the nursery had a crop failure as well, which is possible. So I'm not sure what the holdup on the nursery end is, but planting more plants. I want a bigger greenhouse to be able to do more in greenhouse growing. In the greenhouse, you can control the atmosphere a little bit better. You can control water, wind, heat, all that kind of stuff. So I'd like a bigger greenhouse, but we'll see if my husband grants me that this year.
I'm sure it's coming now. Um, so what keeps you in the mindset of being an entrepreneur? You don't want to go backwards, right? And just say, forget it. So, how do you stay focused and want to keep moving forward?
Well, the reasons a farmer becomes a farmer, which, by the way, is something that I never really saw myself doing in the future. But, my husband went through some struggles in 2010, 2011, and we looked at each other and we said, well, I either need to go get an off-the-farm job or we need to make this farm work for us. So we started to get a little bit of plans put into place, and grew a little bit each year. And I think we're at the point where we're going to need to start hiring some people. My goal for the next couple of years is, so the bakery on the farm is really taking off. One thing I'd like to do there, just for example, is I'd like to hire a baker so that they can do a majority of the baking, so I can manage. It's kind of going like from operator to owner, if that makes sense. So right now I'm an owner operator. I'd like to separate the two.
Right.
And just oversee it, and I like be out in the field where I truly like to be.
All right. So you got to make that big shift. All right. And that's a challenge.
That is a challenge. And it's really hard to get my husband on board with that, because I do agree with him to a degree where we grew this farm because our hands literally touch everything here. Mm-hmm. Justin and I have built this product and this name for ourselves where our kids are involved, and we literally do everything from start to finish. And it's hard to get people who can understand that quality of produce that we make here, and to trust somebody that can deliver the end product that we have created to begin with.
Right. Yeah, it's a big challenge, but I'm sure you guys will overcome that through the time that you find somebody. You teach them and you'll show them the ways.
Yeah.
Right.
And then there's the kids. We'll see if the kids are getting a little bit older. Lacey started in the bakery a couple years ago. She's moved on. She's doing pony rides and all that kind of stuff. So I've let that part of it go because I don't really know as much as she does. So, I mean, that's one aspect where I'm completely trusting my 14-year-old business to run, my 14-year-old daughter to run an entire branch of my business. It's all her. Gregory takes incredible pride in keeping the tractors going, the air in the tires, make sure they're fueled, make sure they're clean, and ready to go for whatever we need. Brent bought a cow this year. Brent really takes some pride in helping manage the employees, making sure they get breaks, making sure everybody's doing what they're doing. So there's always the kids who, in the end, will benefit off of what Justin and I are growing. Sure.
And yeah, I know you guys provide a lot to the community. I don't know everything that you do. I know you sometimes you'll hand out some food, to some charities or whatever. You just want to, I don't know if you want to mention a few or, what you do with some of it.
Sure. So whenever we have extra food, which this year was not a lot at all, we definitely try to donate what we can. Emmaus Angels Networks is one of our big people that we donate to. Betty Lou's Pantry we donate to. There's another place in Quakertown that we take some food to. But these people all come and get the food and take it to their respective place. When it comes to community involvement with nonprofit organizations such as Scouts, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, 4-H, that kind of stuff, my husband and I, and it kind of stems from his mom and dad, Keith and Carol, where we really feel passionate about educating these youth. So the Boy Scouts, they want to do a fundraiser. They do this mum fundraiser every year. But they come out and they help us grow the mums. They come out and they help plant the mums, and then they sell them. It's a start to finish product that they get to see. We have the Girl Scouts out. 2 years ago, we had a ton of apples left on the trees. We couldn't get them up. We had the Girl Scouts out. The Girl Scouts harvested the apples and they took them to the pantry, teaching them how to pick the food and just where the food is coming from, and reacquainting the general public and the youth with the farms. That's been a big goal of both of ours, having the school tours come out. We don't charge a lot. I don't like to charge a lot at all to have kids step foot on our farm, because having the children here and learning about farming and agriculture is priceless.
Yeah, that's good. No, I totally agree. They getting them out there and learning hands on, what's going on and how to deal with things. So I know you have some goals and stuff you want to get done through this year. So what is the best way that you found that you tried to perform the number one task you want to get done each day to get to your goals?
So again, organization is definitely helpful. Just writing down a list of everything that we need to get done over, say, the next 30 to 45 days. Prioritizing the list. I actually created a task management program with my husband and my children. Whereas if there's a moving parts goal, everyone gets assigned a goal in this task manager. And when they're done, they click done, and I'm able to see if it's done. And the next person is able to see if it's done without, having to reconvene every day. Mm-hmm. As far as daily tasks, again, just making a schedule of everything that needs to get done each day. If I'm really struggling with something, I will put it large 8x11 sheet of paper and put it up on my workboard so I stare at it every day until it's done. But that does. The scheduling is tricky sometimes, especially if we have the four kids they're in 4 different schools with 3 different learning models. So that in itself is presenting challenges right now.
Yes. I understand with you there. I get that. No, thanks for sharing. So what's the best way for people to get more information about your farm?
So I tried my hardest to keep the website up to date as much as possible, but honestly, Facebook is definitely the best place for the most up to date what's going on. Then there's links all over the website for Facebook. And honestly, I love when my customers call me. I know that people don't love that. And, over the fall, my husband says, why don't you set up an automated voice machine? And, if they need, leave all the information on the voice machine. And I know that would be really efficient. But I really feel like when I can talk to a customer, I can help them explain more about what our farm does and who our family is and why they should come support us.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And I'll include all that stuff in the notes afterwards. Real quick, do you have any new baked goods or anything that you could share that you might be coming out with this year that we should be looking forward to?
Well, I've been playing with these chocolate bombs. Apparently they are the new fad. They're not that hard to make in bulk anyway. They don't use a lot of chocolate. So that I can see myself making fairly soon. We are thinking about doing some Fastnachts this year. Okay. Which I guess we better get on that if we want to do that for next week. Not really. Okay. Other than the sunflower and sweet corn festival thing, I want to do a more baked goods, chocolate covered strawberries for Mother's Day. This past year, we know this really awesome guy who's been making these chocolate buckeyes that seem to be really taking off.
Mm-hmm. Good. So
we're really hoping that we can put a candy aspect to our bakery, and with more than the buckeyes and sprinkles and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you. That's all I have for now. I appreciate you coming on and telling us about what farming is and how it helps the community and stuff.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you have a great day.
I'll see you later.